Welcome to Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine. I'm your host, Jill Jardine, master's in counseling psychology, professional international astrologer, psychic healer, and yogi. In this episode, I'm going to discuss the epic Uranus North Node and Mars conjunction in Taurus in Western astrology. This alignment will bring some shakeups and upheavals, but also opens portals to awakening to higher dimensions. Stay tuned to see what to expect. Welcome to the episode on the epic Uranus North Node and Mars conjunction in Taurus at the end of July through early August. We are in a major shift of energies and consciousness. I attribute it to the breakdown of the third dimensional matrix, while the fifth dimension and higher dimensional overlays get anchored here on planet Earth. I will be looking at the energetic patterns at play currently and how we can mitigate these swirling tides of highs and lows. The planetary conjunction of Uranus, North Node, and Mars in the sign of Taurus in Western astrology will bring shakeups and quakes in our society and globally. There are many possible outcomes that will have shocking events, effects, and repercussions. I'll discuss what might occur and tune into the most likely scenarios. In mid-July, we experienced the full moon on July 13th that will make for raw emotions and bring some things to a head. What has been hidden will be revealed. We may not like hearing how the power elite has abused our resources, acting unscrupulously and maliciously. Exposure is important to move forward. This full moon is the time to release and get ready for the unexpected energies at month's end. Initiated at the new moon in Leo on July 28th, triggered at the exact conjunction of the North Node, Uranus, and Mars in Taurus on July 31st at 3:04 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time, and then the slow separation of these planets in early August, dispersing the fallout from the shocks and shakeups. Big surprises come at the end of July when a very intense astrological aspect occurs with Mars, Uranus, and Rahu, or the North Node, conjunction in the sign Taurus. Mars and Rahu are both considered very malefic in Vedic astrology, while Uranus is a Western astrological planet symbolizing the unexpected and big changes. So when Mars, symbolizing aggression and force, considered a malefic planet in both Western and Vedic astrology, combines with Uranus, shocks or the unexpected, and the North Node, called Rahu in Vedic astrology, considered uncontrolled passions or material pursuits, get together, we will see something explosive occur or get news that will surprise and shock everyone. There is a possibility of some event in the world that will disturb and upset many. The degree that this conjunction of Uranus, North Node, and Mars occurs in is 18 degrees Taurus. So check out your own personal astrology to see where that is located in your chart and if it is triggering any other planets. The Sabian symbol for 18 degrees Taurus is, quote, a woman airing an old bag through open window of her room. So we can interpret and translate this as the cleaning of ego consciousness. This is a Sabian symbol that symbolizes purification or cleansing the doors of perception. So remember the Sabian symbol at the end of July into early August. It'll be important to remember that whatever is happening, it has to do with purification and cleansing the way that you look at things. I think some of us will have profound third eye openings and be able to have a new level of clarity to see through whatever the illusions the third dimensional matrix is throwing our way. There will be great awakenings among the planet population as people may realize they are being duped and see the control attempts by the global elite by certain manipulated events. Powerful shifts could change the course of history and our planetary trajectory. We have to look at the sign Taurus and what it rules to understand what areas these big triggers will affect. Taurus is a money sign and rules economics and finances. So right off the bat, I will say financial systems will be in upheaval. I had predicted the crashing cryptocurrency markets and stock market floundering since September of 2021, tracking the flailing financial markets beginning at the Scorpio Taurus lunar full moon, lunar eclipse of November 19th, 2021, and really collapsing with crypto in April and May 2022. This all did occur as predicted. So what we're seeing here at the end of July into August will be another phase in the recalibration of the financial markets. Instability in financial markets will be triggered by some global economic event or global crisis, leading to profound changes in financial markets, the climate, and environment. More on the financial outlook later in the episode and my speculations on the events that will trigger these shocking outcomes. In astrology, Taurus is an earth sign, and it also rules the earth. So there will be issues arising around the environment and agriculture. Perhaps research or information will be revealed in August, giving us an expiration date on planet Earth as we know it, due to the environmental conditions that are increasingly creating climate crisis and drastic extreme weather conditions throughout the world. There will be increasing concern and awareness of environmental issues and natural resources. Strong weather patterns are predicted during this time, possibly. Agriculture and sustainability of crops and food sources on the planet will be an issue of concern. There could be upheavals or changes in farming and agriculture, and also the increased food supply issues and supply and demand issues that we've been experiencing could get worse. Taurus rules the earth and farming. So as I mentioned, Uranus and Taurus can trigger sudden and irreversible changes in the environment and climate crisis, the kind that aren't good, but perhaps will serve for a greater awakening of humanity. So these are some of the Taurus North Node manifestations. Forced new directions in the economy, agriculture, climate, and weather will be necessary. And there may be a crisis that triggers these concerns, such as major earthquakes, flooding, or other weather anomalies. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer here, but if we are aware and alert to what could possibly happen, then we can be prepared and act accordingly and not suffer from the shocks that Uranus tends to bring as it makes this epic transit to the planets Mars and the North Node. The planet Uranus is the major player in this conjunction, as it takes 84 years to return to a particular zodiacal sign and placement. Uranus has been in the sign of Taurus since 2018 and stays there until 2025. When Uranus transits Taurus, it updates traditions related to money, interactions with the natural world, gardening, doing business, attitudes towards security and practical affairs. The previous time Uranus transited Taurus was from 1934 to 1942. If we look back in history to what happened between 1934 and 1942, there were many historical shifts and major world shocking events, such as the collapse of the German economy in the 1930s, which gave the rise to Nazism in Germany, fascism in Italy, other very rigid regimes, and of course, World War II. I'm not predicting a war, although tensions will be high at the end of July when Mars conjoins Uranus and the North Node in Taurus for a few days. Uranus in Taurus, activated by the North Node, will shatter long-held beliefs and trust in certain systems like governments, religions, and other control systems. There could be outcries for freedom and revolution by people against the existing outworn paradigms. Uranus also rules technologies. So technology will play a part in these shifts that are coming at the end of the month. There may be a breakdown of technology as the grid goes down, but going forward, there will be innovations in technology that can be applied for positive outcomes. Uranus in astrology is the great awakener, rebel, and revolutionary. The energy is one of change that often comes by way of destabilization, upheaval, chaos, breakdowns that will lead to breakthroughs and also wild card or rogue energies. Uranus is the planet of unpredictability, but also it is the planet of freedom and freeing us from our own inner constructs and constraints, as well as external control agendas and rigid regimes. So the Uranus energy at this time will make breakthroughs. Uranus, as the ruler of Aquarius, is also about group consciousness. So we may see groups of people coming together to resist whatever injunctions or control agendas are trying to be imposed. Energies are going to build toward the exact Uranus North Node Mars conjunction at the end of July. I don't think it's going to be all bad, and I will discuss the phenomenal shifts in consciousness available at this time and through the Lion's Gate of 8/8 on August 8th. There will be positive expressions in our personal lives, and perhaps not such positive experiences or expressions in the collective during this time. Light is increasing and shadow is exposed. Uranus and Mars accelerate things moving toward the game changer. When Mars joins both Uranus and the North Node on August 1st, igniting the flames of intensity of whatever's popping up at this time. From July 26th through August 1st, we have a tight, intense portal where the node of destiny, the North Node or Rahu, and evolutionary growth, again symbolized by Rahu, aligns with the rebel and revolutionary Uranus. And the trigger is Mars to whatever this major planetary shift will unfold. So now let me speculate on what some of the outcomes could be in late July through early August. I have been tuning into this for a while, but was getting more information around the full moon of July 13th, a full 2 weeks prior to the Uranus North Node and Mars conjunction in Taurus in Western astrology. Also, we need to be aware that in Vedic astrology, this conjunction occurs in the sign Aries, which is much more volatile and perhaps will bring an explosive energy into the mix. Rahu, the North Node, and Mars are both malefic energies in Vedic astrology, and Mars is militant, aggressive, male-focused, ruler of war and conflict. Rahu is the North Node of the moon and is symbolized in Vedic astrology as the head of the demon, lacking a body, just the head. So there's a disconnection there, the head but no body. So Rahu's energy is very erratic, uncontrollable, and fueled by greed and material playing game. Rahu's counterpart, the South Node, known as Ketu, is more spiritual in nature. It is the body of the demon without the head. So Rahu's dominance in this conjunction will make for man's decisions and destructive, greedy tendencies to come forth. Uranus is also similar to Rahu, even though Uranus is not a Vedic planet, but Uranus is similar to Rahu because it is unpredictable and chaotic. Add Mars to the mix, and there is aggressive, tumultuous energies fueled by the little minds of men making decisions which affect the collective. So regarding what actually might happen during this conjunction, certainly there will be fear-inducing events. So do your best not to go into a fear space. When I tuned in, it seemed the likely area where something could occur that throws the world into upheaval is a global economic crisis triggered by a big player in the world economy collapsing. Also, this is reminiscent of when Uranus went through Taurus in the 1930s and the German economy collapsed. If there was a collapse of, let's say, the Chinese economy or European economy, or really any major country's economy tumbling, this would throw global markets into a free fall, and we could see banks freezing assets, and there will be issues accessing funds and monies from banks. There will be inevitably a financial reset as markets struggle to acclimate to this new global financial situation. And I believe that crypto will come through this and become a viable rate of exchange. More on that later. Another scenario could be related to the power grids going down due to weather conditions, solar flares, or other electromagnetic interferences. A culprit could be CERN in Switzerland. Operations with the particle accelerator and hadron collider at CERN were amped up recently on July 5th. The European Organization for Nuclear Research, celebrating its 10th anniversary, restarted its Large Hadron Collider after it was shut down 3 years ago. On July 5th, 2022, collisions at unprecedented energy levels at the Large Hadron Collider at CERN were ignited. The Large Hadron Collider, which is the world's largest and most powerful particle accelerator, is at the center of conspiracy theories surrounding CERN. There are concerns that the portal will open there to other dimensions after two high-energy particle beams are set to travel at close to the speed of light before they collide. Uh-oh. These operations at CERN could totally mess with the electromagnetics of planet Earth and create weather anomalies, as well as disrupt the power grids on Earth, which would shut down the internet, power sources, cell phones, and there would be no business as usual. So this would certainly affect the global economy as no financial markets could operate. The whole idea of the portal opening is scary, as it would bring in some disturbing energies from astral dimensions. However, I have faith that the Galactic Council and other high beings who oversee the evolution here on planet Earth are monitoring this CERN situation very closely and will intervene if this planet is endangered. And they have done this in the past when we were at the brink of nuclear wars throughout history and also during World War II. So let's all pray to these higher beings of light to take care of us here on planet Earth so that the small minds of men don't create another Atlantis situation and destroy our grids. I also think that although the event that occurs will have crisis proportions, whatever it is, whether it's an electromagnetic disturbance, a weather issue such as an earthquake or something else, or a man-made problem, whatever occurs, it looks like it will be shifted fast by early August and damage can be mitigated. The fallout from the event will wake up people and cause big shifts in consciousness. I think cryptocurrency will have a comeback as the Uranus North Node and Mars conjunction in Taurus activates the natal Uranus and Bitcoin's astrological chart by a 60-degree sextile aspect to Bitcoin's Uranus in the 8th house of money. This could create an unexpected and quick rise for Bitcoin. I also noticed that in the charts of some other major players, such as Ethereum, Digibyte, and Polkadot, that Pluto is conjuncting key planets in all of these charts in the sign Capricorn, reactivating and triggering those markers of wealth. So yes, with the Uranus North Node and Mars conjunction, there could be some very disturbing, disruptive, and chaotic events occurring here on planet Earth during approximately a 10-day period from July 26th through August 8th. This will affect the third dimensional matrix and its control agendas. They will be amped up to induce fear and psychological conflict with people. We have to remember that 3D has been controlled by programmed actors powered by the ego, the mind, society, mass media of all sorts, and alternative control programming. This created a reality that used linear time and was acted out predictably through automatic societal programs. However, these 3D control agendas and earth grids have been eroding and breaking down. This process began, and 2012 was a big year when it was accelerated. And then Uranus went into Taurus in 2018, which amped up this process more. In 2012, many of us in the new consciousness movement were excited about the impending wake-up of humanity. However, it didn't come in the way we expected and was delayed. And then 2020 brought a global crisis of a pandemic to turn up the heat. However, many of us in astrology and other energy reading fields saw 2020 coming way before and viewed it as a big reset and planetary shift because of the epic Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter conjunction in Capricorn at that time, which would rock our global structures. And it did. But we also saw that the third dimensional matrix held tight with control agendas. So this current conjunction at the end of July into August in Taurus, which is another earth sign like Capricorn, will also rock our world, but in a different way. Global and personal chaos always comes before a huge shift, ushering in a new age and an epic awakening or evolution of consciousness. We are moving out of the third dimensional matrix while waking up to higher dimensional realities and frequencies, which offer much to us on a soul level if we know how to align with these new energies. We are moving into an evolved and more complex natural wisdom system with a much higher frequency and with more freedoms, but also more personal responsibility. What happened or is still happening in the third dimension stays in 3D. Old games and societal patternings and mind-numbing routines will stay in that frequency. Some of us will have some unfinished 3D business, personally, karmically, collectively. And old karmic connections and patterns will have to be released. These outworn paradigms, patriarchals, and foundations won't make it out of 3D. We are leaving the ego mind consciousness and moving into a heart-centered unity consciousness. The future is not written. We are manifesting it moment by moment. That's why it's very important not to be distracted by the 3D theatrics that are going to play out during this epic conjunction. The new cycle we are evolving into will have less limiting laws of nature with more freedoms, higher frequencies, and more self-responsibility. Use this conjunction in Taurus at the end of July through August for an opportunity to accelerate your personal shift to higher awareness and soul connection, which will then assist planetary evolution. Moving into heart consciousness is key. Wisdom and love unlocks the doors to higher dimensional realities. Multidimensionality means we can access everything all the time simultaneously. Put on your seatbelt and get ready for the ride. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the epic Uranus, North Node, and Mars conjunction in Taurus. Make sure you subscribe, download, share, and give us a 5-star review. This is Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine, sending cosmic currents through the quantum field. Duh.